Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name is Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good Rookie.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's the Good Rookie Show.
Yep, yep.
Yep. What's up, y'all? As you know, we're your hosts coming to you from Toronto, Canada, the 6th, chatting about all the hottest topics in sports and culture. You know what I want. So Fahim, a lot has happened. First off, though, I definitely want to send thoughts and prayers to Bronny. He had an incident during a USC practice where he was rushed to the hospital, had cardiac arrest. Just blessings to the family, the James family, blessings to everyone who helped him recover from this incident. And we definitely hope he gets a healthy, speedy recovery. And, people are talking about what should he do next. Not my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's his family and his decision to make. But whatever he decides to do, I will be supporting. But just want to, send my thoughts and prayers to the James family.
Nice.
So just want to make sure
Yeah.
we kind of recognize that.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I just heard about that just today. So that's pretty fresh. I don't know any details about it, but yeah, definitely. Person thought to him. I mean, um it ended better than it could have, right? From what I heard. Um, it was more of it looks like the bigger scare maybe is behind them. So, but yeah, definitely. Um, prayers and thoughts to the James family for sure. Nelly J. I just found about this very recently also. We have a new NBA richest player, and he's not a top five, not a top 10, really not a top 20 in a lot of people's books. Jaylen Brown used a 5-year deal for $304 million. Let's talk about it.
I mean, when I got the alert on my phone, on my telephone, I mean, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. To your point, he's not a top five player. He's not my top 20. And actually he kind
Okay.
of dropped a little bit more when I saw him in the playoffs, to be honest. I wasn't
Wow.
really like he did his part, but man, those fourth quarters, I just remember him dashing up some threes, just bad timing shots, like not really like his passing is so limited, like man, he got a lot. He needs like he again, good player. He's a shooting guard, right? So his job is to shoot. I get that, but I feel like he can do more. And I think a lot of us felt that it could be because of the JT JB combination. It's a lot. But hey, clearly, a lot of people thought Jaylen Brown should be traded. Why keep him? It's redundant. I'm happy that the Celtics are saying, you know what, these are our guys. We want to stick with them. Kind of like how Toronto's doing. Like, we're not going to just trade people to trade. If it's not going to get anything in return, we're not going to make a trade. We're going to keep them, pay them. And then if someone, wants them that bad, they're going to obviously trade. So, I mean, he has a super max, to your point, contract, the richest in NBA history. Man, 5 years. I was told by someone, I forgot who said it, but they said that he's had this deal on his lap for a while. It wasn't like just happened, like he's been aware of it. But I think he wanted to have like a player option year 2 or 3 or something like that. So they were like, if you want the money, we need 5 years. So I think this he could have signed this a lot sooner from what I was, So they've been negotiating this contract for Jaylen Brown for a while. So for those who thought they want to trade him, no, they were planning on keeping him for sure. And it was just what delayed it was more of the player option, right? When that will be. So Brown, Porzingis, Jason Tatum, Brogdon's still there. They still got, Robert Williams, Horford, Grant Williams is gone. Marcus Smart gone, right? So this is it's the same like core. I think, like the two heads are still there, but this team is gonna look quite different for him than what we saw the last two years, right? So But yeah, I'm curious to see how this pans out. But again, was I shocked? Yes and no. I'm happy for Jaylen. Like, yes, man, get your money. Um, it seems like the CBA, these kind of contracts for him is not going to stop. We're going to see more and more contracts like this in the now and moving forward because of the CBA new deal, the broadcasting deal coming out, TV deal. Like, they're about to make a lot of money, these players. So supermax deals,
Mm.
guys, get familiar. 300 million for him. We're in that
Hmm.
era. Not the same as
Right. Yeah.
Mbappe with 1 billion, but for 1 year. But hey, the
Yeah.
NBA ain't there yet.
Jason Tatum, he's actually due coming up
That's
for a
true.
5 year, 318 some odd, 320, something around there for 5 years, around same deal. But what I'm finding
So sorry,
interesting
Fahim. You said
is
Jason Tatum. What would be the
uh,
amount if he's not the super max? What would they pay him? You kind of
it'll be 5 years, 318 million.
for Jason Tatum. Okay, got you.
Yeah. Um, but these, because I guess the CBA, the Supermax, what's tied into it is also performance. Also, you have to make an All NBA team to be eligible for it, which makes it interesting. That's why Brown was actually eligible because he was an All NBA second team. I started saying that he's pretty much not top 20 on anyone's list, but he was an All NBA second team
Yeah, only because
this year.
guys were injured this year. A lot of guys were hurt.
And
I'm not even. Honestly, the All
and
NBA
this is
teams now, like, it's so funny because remember we spoke about Devin Booker, who was the first team All NBA, right? And for that season, I felt like he was top five because of his performance. He was the best player on the number one team in the entire league, right? Whereas Jaylen Brown was the second best player on on the third best team in the entire league, right?
Mhm.
So it's like for last season, you can say he's top 15 based on last season, right? Performance. But yeah, overall, like NBA player, like, overall ranking for the upcoming season, assuming everyone's healthy, he's not top 20, to your point. No.
Yeah. But I want to put respect in Jalen Brown's name. He's I rate his come up how he came. Um, and I'll be honest, I am really surprised. It's kind of like Mike Conley. At one point, Mike Conley Jr. was the NBA's highest paid player. I think that's the first year that they did, renegotiated the CBA and remember throwing out. That's the first time we're having these like real mega contracts. Mike Conley Jr. He ended that whole month of contracts been coming out, being highest paid. And I remember thinking, wow, Mike Conley Jr. is the highest paid player, but yet he's not even an NBA team. So this kind of feels like that. Only difference is Jaylen Brown, I think, relatively is a better player in comparison to out there than Mike Conley was in comparison at his time. So it's shocking that he's the highest paid player, but he's young. He's got a ton of growth, things to work on, and yeah, I mean, shout out to Jaylen Brown. I have a ton of respect for his game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because keep in mind, he was with Donda Academy, with Donda Agency, right? Before the Kanye
Yes,
fiasco.
yeah,
And now his agent I'm seeing
I
here,
like that.
Jason Glushin, said in an email. I'm not sure if Jason
Mhm.
Glushin is his agent, but yeah, I think it is Jason Glushin who's his agent now. So he had that thing where he had to kind of leave Kanye's agency, um, you know, because of
You
because
have to
of
leave it? Oh, wow.
yeah, he had to leave him because the whole Kanye's comments, he was put in a kind
Oh,
of rough.
well, if he was going to leave, I would have thought he would have left a while ago.
No,
Like,
he just left. He just left like legit a few
that's,
months ago when Kanye had
oh,
that situation.
okay.
So he just and like it was like he had to leave because of it was just you know Kyrie, Kanye,
Just,
like
yeah,
yeah. So he
yeah,
he was
bad
he or
association,
else he
but
wouldn't have left, I think. But yeah, so He's the new agent now, and yeah, it's the second. Just so you know, he eclipsed the second richest deal. Do you know who that was for him? It was signed in 2022.
2022. Give me a team.
No, that's easy. You gotta guess a player. Give you a team. You know who it is.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
give you a
Well,
team. I'll give you a
oh, okay.
conference,
Is
Western
that
Conference.
obvious? Okay.
I'll give you a conference,
Western
Western
Conference.
Conference.
Okay, he's in the West. Highest paid in the West. Uh, five, four, three, two, one. Steph Curry.
Nope, it was Nikola Jokic, the NBA champion, Finals MVP.
Really?
He signed
Okay.
the at the time it was the richest NBA contract. His was 276 million. So that was the richest at the time, right? According to, of course,
Okay.
spot track. So he had the richest contract. So Jaylen
Well,
Brown
they
is
got that
now
right. They got that right with the richest project. Not mad at that. There's a big difference between the the,
thank
the
you.
changing of hands from
That's what I'm
Jokic to Jaylen Brown, but it's nothing
that's
but
what I'm
love with
trying to
Jaylen Brown.
say.
I'm not hating on him at all. Getting his paper because put in the
Yeah,
work.
so
You know.
just a comparison how the richest was Nikola Jokic, who is a champion, a
Mm,
finals MVP, a back-to-back MVP, and then now it's Jaylen Brown. It's like
yeah.
it's just two different
Right.
levels. You know what I'm saying? So to your point on
Right.
this, disparity or of just like the contracts, but imagine when Nikola Jokic contract comes up again. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Okay.
Well, Boston
It's
has
going to
some
be
decisions to
crazy.
make, though. Jalen Brown's at what 305 years, 300 plus. Uh, Also,
Three or
Jaden
four.
Taylor. Also, you're gonna have two guys, 5 years, both supermax. Now, mind you, if you're Boston, you do it. You do everything you can to sign those two. I get it, but it's not leaving much cap space to do other things, right? But I mean, I'd rock with that strategy. Keep them together. They're knocking on the door of something big.
Yep, it's true. And it's something where we're seeing it in football as well, right? In football, we saw Herbert, he signed a large contract. And in both NBA and NFL, we're going to see a lot more of these massive, massive contracts. But Fahim, nothing compares to what
Mm-hmm.
Mbappe was offered. Not only that, Giannis tweeted out and said, "Hey, can I play? We look alike." You know what I'm saying? Like Draymond Green is asking, "Hey, do you guys need somebody?" Because the ink hasn't dried on my contract. So what the Saudis are doing over there, 1 billion? Wow, I don't know what that is. That's just, I mean, if you're Mbappe, Fahim, are you signing? Are you going to Saudi or what? What are you doing if you were
I
in his
just
shoe?
so I heard just recently that he just turned it down. So maybe that might be a topic for another day. But how do you turn down that kind of money? What has happened for him to turn down that kind of money? I got a lot of
Is it
questions.
turned
Hopefully, I
down? Are
get
you sure?
answers.
I said report.
Well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said this report, but I'm just saying I've seen. Maybe you could do a quick search. But from last heard, which is like I don't know, a few hours ago, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
reports are saying that he's looking to turn it down. And you see anything?
Yeah, he's not trying to meet with them. And you know what? That's so apparently he's not trying to talk with
So
them right now or meet with them, to your point.
was that
That was
right?
reported. Yeah, you're correct.
He's not going
He
to.
didn't turn
Okay,
it down
cool.
yet. He just
Okay.
said he's not going to meet with them. I don't know what. Maybe he needs more time to think about it.
Okay, so that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, I'll say that maybe he's like, I don't want to meet with them to discuss a transfer at this time, because maybe he's young, right? He wants to play in like Europe, like he's a different level versus Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, right? So it just could be like, I want to play in this league. This is my dream, and I'm sure whenever he's ready to go there, Fahim, they're gonna Al Halal will accept him with open arms with $1 billion, to pay him. So
Right. And if they're willing to pay that now, that offer is probably still going to be on the table in the near future. So it's not
wow.
like a now or never, And the more he continues to dominate his craft, that just makes him more valuable. That maybe the price that they're offering for him now, um, you know, today's price is not yesterday's price. Put it that way. Perhaps he can get more. So we'll see. Shout out to him also. Nelly J, you want to head to for the culture?
Yes, for the culture. We like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today we get to highlight an NBA Hall of Famer. He's someone that honestly makes me laugh out loud. Um, he's hilarious, does TNT, Epic Crew. I think a lot of people enjoy their like whenever Thursday night is on to watch them speak on the game and their thoughts. But what I want to highlight about this individual is all the opportunity has created for the people and the investments he's made since leaving the NBA. So let's give it up to Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So Shaquille O'Neal, dominant force, probably one of the most dominant people we've seen play the game, Faheem. Like breaking backboards, Orlando Shaq, I would say can go from rim to rim, Faheem. Block a shot, dribble down on a fast break, and do a dunk. And the man was massive. Like he was so huge. But today I want to talk about a couple moves that I think I really want to highlight. So in his career earnings, he earned 200 million, right? And after that though, like throughout his life, his net worth is actually close to 400 million net worth plus investments, right? So what's insane to me, Faheem, this man, Shaquille O'Neal, and Faheem, again, I did not know this. He bought during his career, so while he was playing basketball. Do you know he bought 155 Five Guys locations? That's now worth 100 million.
Uh,
155.
155. Which locations?
Five Guys burger.
Five Guys. Yes. Okay. I did. Yes. Okay. Great. Mhm. Yeah.
Five Guys. Okay. His other investments include he actually invested in Google at 100 million valuation. Google has now since it's 30 times more, and he still has shares. Okay. So let's just think about that. On top of that, he's also
To,
made huge.
real quick on the Google. So
So at the time he invested in Google, it was worth 100 million. Now Google's worth 30 times more than that. And he still has
right,
shares within Google. So whatever his shares
right,
amount is when he purchased at that time is worth 30 times more.
right. And with Google, because remember he started his career in Orlando, and that
Mm-hmm.
was part of him going to the other side of the coast from Florida to Los Angeles, California. Um, you know, they have tech, Silicon Valley business in LA that he wanted to do. So I did hear about the Google that happened because when Google was in its very early stages or early enough that they had their IPO, or was it pre-IPO, one of the two. He um he was Shaq playing in LA business, and he got in very early on Google just from
Yes,
being on the West Coast. Location, location,
absolutely.
location. But you got it,
Mm-hmm.
Nelly J.
No, that's really good insight that you broke that down because again, it's something where we talk about what he's doing, but you can buy shares now for up and coming companies, right? That aren't going to be 100 million value, but it's just showing you different ways of getting revenue, right? That's the purpose of this for the culture is like, wow, you can have a job, but while you're working, you can also invest in other things. So that's dope. On top of that, he invested in 8 million in 9 Atlanta Papa John's location. 8 million in 9 Atlanta Papa John's location. Papa John's, I think, is also part owned by Peyton Manning. Is it Papa John's? I think so, right? Peyton Manning and those guys are Papa John folks. In 2013, Shaq bought about between 2 to 4% of the Sacramento Kings for him, which I think a lot of us forgot. He did that back in 2013, and he actually later sold his
Mhm.
stake for 3 times the amount that he bought it in for. So it's a great investment,
Right, I did hear that. Mhm.
right? On top of that, in 2016, Shaq invested into Ring, which Amazon later purchased, and Ring is now worth $1 billion. So Amazon purchased Ring for $1 billion, and Shaq invested in Ring. Ring is like that, the camera
Yep.
with like the my brother has one in
Yep.
his house. but it
Yeah.
has like
The
the
door.
ringer and it has the
Yeah.
camera there. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So Amazon just purchased that for 1 billion, and Shaq invested into Ring back in 2016 for him. So I just listed out a few ways Shaq has invested while playing, after playing, and I just think that's something where yes, we can talk about Shaq on the court and what he's done for basketball players, for his team, for his legacy as a Hall of Famer. He's definitely in my top 10, my top 5 for centers of all time. Yes, he's above Dwight Howard, if you're thinking. But I think like just the fact that he's just finding different ways of like, acquiring investments and making money without even working. You're just investing in different companies, whether it's stocks, whether it's franchise, whether it's retail. He's just finding ways to invest and making smart investments too. So that's why Shaq is for the culture for him. What's your thoughts on all the investments he's made since he's played, during while he was playing, and now after he's retired? He's still making some smart decisions. You got it.
Mhm. Also, like he's definitely for the culture for what he did for sneakers. Um, there was once a story I heard Shaq saying about I can't remember who he was with at the time for sneakers, and a mother was getting at him saying that about the price of the sneakers, and that that made him think, you know what, I need to make sneakers that's more affordable for everyday people, and that's what made him actually leave whoever he was with, start independently with his Shaq brand, and put it is it Walmart, or you know what I'm saying, like just in those type of stores. He kind of followed the model of I gotta see if I can get this right. Who followed who? Was it Stephon Marbury with his Starburys? He made them like very affordable, like $25. Like anyone can get them. I have a feeling it might have been Shaq that followed Starbury, Stephon Marbury with that model of having a lower end uh, shoe that everyone can afford.
Yes.
So, Shaq being the person that he is, thinking about communities and family. Yeah, I just love all the movies that he's made post career.
Yeah, me too. Everything you said, I agree. It's something where like, athletes, non-athletes, just always like I just think it's always inspiring when you see athletes. And I don't think people look at Shaq as this like really smart business person, right? But he really is. You know what I mean? It just shows you cannot judge a book by its cover ever. And I just love that Shaq is really schooling a lot of people. I know I always talk about my Shaq impersonation. Hey everybody, my name is Shaq. You know what's up? And I like to talk about basketball. That's my Shaq y'all impersonation. Thank you for those applauding at home. But no, I think it's really cool that we can like Shaq makes us laugh. His Shaq Tim and all the stuff he does. But I think it's cool for us to highlight just the business side of him, what he's doing. Keep in mind, all these chains he has, stores he has, is going to help people get jobs. It's going to create opportunity for Atlanta and other locations. Like, this is creating job opportunities for the people that, you know what I'm saying? So I love that. Big up to Shaq. That's why he's for the culture. Top 5 center of all time, top 10 player of all time. If you don't agree, you can holla at me. Okay. We got it.
Also, actually, on the way out of For the Culture, just let's keep this in perspective. You made How much did Shaq make his entire career? Was it 300 million or
200 mil.
200?
Only
I mean,
200 mil,
his
right?
entire career. And Jaylen Brown has made more than Shaq has made his entire career in his young, budding career. You know, uh, now we could factor in other things such as inflation. You know, the cost
True.
of the dollar is a little bit different, but wow, the NBA is really prospering. They can afford to
So again, the
do
NBA is
this.
what? The
It's
NBA.
prospering.
Mm.
The NBA is prospering because of the fact that if they can afford to play these players, this like imagine this equivalency. Jaylen Brown's making 300 million plus 5 years. In today's climate, Shaq, say 15, 20 years ago. If Jaylen Brown equivalent by playing is making 300, one like Shaq like now should be making 600 million, like 500 million. It's just wow. Well, salaries the numbers are just soon. Soon a $500 million contract is going to be commonplace. I shouldn't say soon. Maybe give it 10 years, but in 10 years' time, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think a $500 million contract is like half $1 billion common. Anyways, I'll end there. Shout out to Shaq though.
Big up to Shaq
All right.
O'Neal.
All right, Nelly J. Let's close this out with That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, what was absurd this week? What was absurd?
Wayne Rooney, former, started career at Everton, made his name at Manchester United. We could say a Manchester United legend, sure. Very prominent team. Closed out his career at DC United in the MLS. So he played, I think it was 2 seasons in the MLS. He had said that he thinks Lionel Messi may struggle in the MLS.
Absurd. Duh.
Wow.
What? Okay. And listen, me, I respect fellow players, fellow athletes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were in the game. I can't mimic that. You know more than me. But this is when, this is when sometimes when fans are like, yo, I know you played the game, but really, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because you played the game doesn't mean like you have the comprehension to understand what the hell you're saying. So another example of this, Messi, people call him a GOAT. One of the greatest to ever play the game, is going to struggle in the MLS. He just won a World Cup. This man can do what can't he do? And watching his first 2 games for him, the man subbed in, was a sub, come true, winning goal, right? Game 2, come true, 8 minutes in, goal. Like, what are we at the starter? He is like, anyways, absurd. Faheem, this absurd is so absurd. All I can say is absurd. Like, no.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and you're right. Second half, came in, free kick, typical Messi form. It was very storybook like. He comes in, wins the game off a free kick. That's going to be the start of, I think, many exciting things to come. We had Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's a legend at AC Milan. And played in Italy, also played in EPL also. He had said that he felt he was the greatest to ever play in the MLS. And Ibrahimovic, I wouldn't say dominated, but he was very elite. And, Messi's much more impressive than Ibrahimovic. So I don't see where he's going with that comment. Yeah,
man, that was crazy. When you said it, I was like, no, he did not, because that guy's like he's a low key legend in some people. Like, he played for a long time, so for you to not comprehend like that it's Messi, that's a little bit of hate, maybe, I don't know, but if you don't know, now you know.
All right, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was the Good Rookie Show. So, guys, as you know, it's always a pleasure to talk to y'all, talk about sports and culture. Big up to everyone listening. Love the responses on social media, the retweets, the likes. Man, we see it all. We don't take it for granted. Enough appreciation to everybody who supports the podcast. my shout out this week is actually going to be kind of like simple. So actually saw Bernice King. Bernice King, she's the daughter of MLK, and she made history for him in opening Utah's first ever black-owned bank, essentially. So MLK's daughter, Bernice King, just like that is huge. It's historic. I think it's dope. I want to big up Bernice King. Just again, like what? I mean, in Canada, we don't got no black-owned banks at all. I'm saying that's a whole monopoly. That's another day. But big up to Bernice King. Love that she did that in Utah. Wish this new venture all the success. I'm sure it's gonna do wonderful and do great. But yeah, big up to her. Definitely.
So on the way out, I just want to shout out Utah. Times are definitely changing. When you think of Utah, you think of, a very like homogenous Mormon white place. So it's nice to see Dwayne Wade. He's the part owner of the Utah Jazz. They have him in the mix. They have now Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter in the mix with a bank. It seems like Utah is, very welcoming and a place of growth. So I just want to shout out to Utah. Definitely.
For those two things, but everything else is terrible. I'm joking. I mean, to be honest, definitely that's really good though. To your point, there are black-owned banks in Atlanta, Georgia, New York. Utah having a black-owned bank, to your point, it's a big step, right? In the right direction. So I definitely want to acknowledge that for sure. We still have a lot of college players, a lot of NBA players who say they don't like playing there. Racist comments still come out of there. So, they have a lot to grow. But the fact that we are seeing some improvements, yeah, definitely agree with you there. That's
100%. And especially when these movements are coming from the top, regardless of how people may feel, to see, you have, a black man who's on an ownership group. Oh, you have a black woman owning a bank. It's just good to see that type of representation in those places. So,
agreed.
Yeah. All right, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
All right, y'all. That was the Good Rookie Show. If you had a good time and you enjoyed yourself, please like and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We're on all platforms if you're looking for us. You know what it is. That's the Good Rookie Show. We out.